1 year ago today, Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in their Brooklyn Park home. Their dog Gilbert also died in that attack. This morning, we're sitting down with Melissa's colleagues and closest friends in the legislature as we honor the Hortmans' memories. That conversation is coming up in less than 10 minutes. The emotions from that day are still strong 1 year later. Here's a look back at the events that led up to those horrific attacks and the response in the year since. The violence began that morning in Champlin at the home of State Senator John Hoffman, where he and his wife Yvette were critically injured after being shot multiple times. Miraculously, they both survived, but their daughter Hope was also injured in the attack. We've learned since then that her mom Yvette shielded Hope from also being shot. Those attacks then ended in Brooklyn Park, where Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark and their dog Gilbert all lost their lives. Brooklyn Park police say neighbors will see an increased law enforcement presence there this weekend. They say there is no threat to the public, just additional patrols as a precaution. Their neighbors tell us they think about Melissa and Mark often, and they miss seeing them walking Gilbert in their neighborhood. One group is getting together this weekend to line every yard with signs honoring the late speaker, while others say they try to ask themselves, what would Melissa do from time to time?
No one deserves what happened to her or them, but just the fact of the matter, the person that she was, such a great person. Personally, professionally, she took the time out for everybody.
This weekend, we're also hearing from Senator John Hoffman, who made this post on social media. It reads in part, quote, "1 year ago, I was fighting for my life in an ICU bed, unconscious and surrounded by a team determined to save me. At one point, Yvette was escorted from her ICU room by a Minnesota state trooper to see me. A year later, we're still here, still healing, still grateful." This week, there was a significant update in the case against Vance Belter. That's the man charged in those lawmaker shootings. He pleaded guilty on Thursday to 6 federal charges against him, including 2 counts of murder. Under the agreement with prosecutors, Belter also pleaded guilty to 4 counts of stalking and the discharge of a firearm in a crime of violence. The plea agreement calls for him to serve 2 life sentences and an additional 40 years in prison. The Department of Justice confirms to us this week the death penalty is now off the table for Belter. Meanwhile, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office says Belter's plea in federal court does not change things for his state case. The state will pursue 8 state felony charges, including first-degree murder. County Attorney Mary Moriarty says she plans to take Belter to trial, and her office is working with the U.S. Attorney's Office to transfer him into state custody. As we reflect on the 1-year mark of those shootings, KARE 11 has a special program looking back on the tragedy and how the victims' legacies live on. You can watch it anytime for free, streaming right now on the KARE 11 app.